Welcome to Donnie Jones Live. I am certified arborist and all-around awesome person, Donnie the Tree Lady.
You sound like you almost forgot your name.
I did forget my name for like a half a second.
But I am Marty McFly, that guy that's trying to just, have a good day today.
You are having a good day.
Right.
I'm going to tell you, you're all crispy and
I'm trying. I put on
ironed
my
your
white
shirt.
I can wear white today.
Yeah. No, actually, I ain't going to lie. I thought that was off-white. So did you wash the shirt?
Well, it depends on.
I'm messing with
Just leave me alone. See, I'm trying to dress a little bit better.
You look great.
But you know what? Being honest, something broke my heart this weekend.
What happened?
I was listening to the news.
Okay.
And it was about actually a puppy dog. I'm not sure exactly of what kind of breed the dog was, but it was a nice, healthy dog. And its owner died.
Oh, gosh. I'm so sorry to hear that.
And it's sad because the owner put in his will that it wanted to be buried with his dog.
But the dog wasn't dead.
No, but he is now. I'm serious.
Okay,
I'm serious.
Marty.
Because
Marty.
You think no. I'm not making this up. This is on CNN because here's the thing.
But don't we usually try to start the show off on a high note? Now I'm all depressed.
I'm still on a high. It might not be a high note, but on a high. But anyway, there was something that made me think though, because I love animals and everything like that.
I love animals.
But that was one of the craziest things because I didn't realize that whatever you put in your wheel, that they have to do. Like animals and stuff like that are your their property.
So there wasn't any situation where they could I guess vote against the will, so they don't kill a healthy dog.
No, I'm saying if you pass, heaven forbid,
right,
and you say you want the car to be left to your daughter.
Right.
Okay. They can't say, well, we want your car to be left to your cousin. Your car is your property.
Right.
Your animals are your property.
Wow.
Isn't that something?
Oh, my gosh.
I'm glad that they, Lincoln changed that law a long time ago.
You silly dude.
I'm just saying, because a lot of us be dead right now or just knocking on the bottom of a grave. Like,
Marty, I don't even know where the heck I was going to go today. I was going to try to go say something, inspiration, whatever. You got me lost, man.
That's the inspiration, though.
That was an inspiration.
And just think about God leaving his commandments, too, and his will, that, even when he leaves, you're supposed to do what he's supposed to do, like love.
Okay, you trying to bring it full circle.
I'm trying.
You're trying to bring it full circle.
Well, okay, give me some inspiration.
Okay, I don't know if it's inspirational, but you mentioned about cars, and this weekend, my little 15-year-old was driving. She drove for the first.
Oh,
well, we've been doing a little testing on like parking lots, but she actually got behind the wheel. She's got her driving permit, so we let her drive on the streets. I ain't never prayed that much in my whole life. Whole life. So yeah.
But she got the hang of it.
Yeah,
you teach her how to drive a stick.
She did. No, she's not going to drive one of our trucks.
Okay.
It's the family car. So, but here's the funny thing. I told her she can have the family car in a year when she's got more experience and stuff like that.
The electric, the car, the one that you're driving?
The one I drive is the Prius. That's what I drive for work. So no, the other one. I told her she can have it. The other one at
my house that y'all just got told.
No, not that one either.
The little VW. These aren't jokes, y'all.
I got a feeling. I know where you're going.
I'm just making sure.
I know where you're going.
Okay, well, one of y'all vehicles. Okay.
Yeah, she can have one of them. So yeah, she's. But I'm so proud of her. But it also made me realize I'm getting old. Like if I've got a kid that is now driving, that means I got some work to do.
Does that set up a precedence for your next one? I mean, for your other daughter, the one that's under her?
She already said she want a Tesla. I'm like, dude, are you nuts?
So at 16, they're going to get a car, each one of you.
They will.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, that's nice.
Yeah. I feel like there's a little tone there, though.
It's not. Okay. I'm saying, how
did your parents give you a car when you turned 16?
Well, I was a little spoiled. I got my first car, I think, at 12.
Oh, nice.
But it's the country, though. It was a country, so it was like, either a car or a tractor.
Right.
Because you have to do some real work out there.
Yeah.
So it's like they just gave me a beat up car at 12 to just
mess around with. But you know what? I was 11 or 12 when I started driving because my dad owns a tree service. And so I started driving tractors, anything with wheels that he had in his business, I had to drive. Okay. So I learned to drive a tractor, a bobcat, whatever. And it also taught me, not to be afraid behind the wheel. So by the time I was 16, I was like this. I was like,
Okay, you were just being in it. Yeah. Now, you know what? We are all off topic and everything. We're supposed to be talking about entrepreneurship. This is what you told me that this show was going to be about.
But you started with the puppy thing, so you threw me off.
I'm sorry. That was just on my mind, just the little puppy that's been buried.
My entrepreneurial.
And you just...
My entrepreneurial thing topic today.
A little bit later on.
I don't know how you're going to tie this into this, but I want to see you do this. My topic was going to be handling your business. That was the topic for today. And as far as this segment was concerned, because as a small business person, what I notice is that people will come to me and they want to start, a plumbing company, or want to start a social media company, or they want to start a landscaping company. And the last thing they do is handle their paperwork, and I'm like, so as a small business person, one thing I will say to people is if you are going to start a business, handle it like a business. That means get the proper licenses, get the proper insurances. If you're not in a position right now to get, brand new equipment, get the equipment that you need,
Okay. Now, let me ask you this. When do you start doing that? Because in my culture and in my neighborhood, Little really started cutting hair in this house when he was 7, 8.
But that's
and he's just started, but it becomes a business.
Right.
But now he's been doing this 20-something years. Now he's a professional, but it's he ain't got no license.
Little Willie's got a license if he's been doing it 20 years, dude.
If he started in his mama's house in the kitchen.
Right. And you're saying he's got a building now.
And he don't got him a little trailer in the back of the house, a little shed that his friend and people come over there.
It's still his side hustle.
Right. It's still a side hustle. When do you turn that side hustle into a full business?
I think at the point where you're earning some type of substantial income where you've got to pay taxes. And the reason why I say that is because, I'm transparent.
Yep.
I have not always handled the tax situation the way I should have. And if I would have done that, that would have alleviated a lot of issues that I had in the past. And so I tell people now, set yourself up an account for your taxes, a separate account, set up some savings so that you can put a percentage away you can save for more equipment. Then you have an operations account and a payroll account. And we were joking on air about this, but I'm actually working with a CPA right now so that as my business grows, that I've got those things set aside. That's why your check cleared. No,
what day? You say in the future it's going to clear.
In the future it's going to clear. But no, seriously, but we joke a lot on the show, but whenever we're out in the streets or people run into, I always get asked about small businesses.
Right.
And I feel like that's where my sweet spot is. So my word for the day is handle your business. Get the proper insurances, get the proper licenses that you need, get yourself a bank account set up. I know a lot of people don't do checks and stuff nowadays, but at least be able
checks,
right. But
I'm just saying they don't know. But cash app me. I need cash.
But you still have to have an account. If somebody's going to be doing cash app for their business, at least have an account and make sure that account is set up under your business name. Get yourself a tax ID. Or set yourself up to where you can legally protect yourself as far as taxes concerned, and also so that you can have, the tax benefits.
All right.
Of being a small business owner.
When you set yourself up, because I know, with me, one of my Achilles heels is time management.
Yeah.
With working for yourself. Do you have actual cutoff time? What do you have a start time? Say Monday through Friday, you start work at 9 a.m.
Right.
and you stop at 6 a.m. Or is it you stop when the phone stops ringing?
Transparency, I just started probably within the last couple of years because of my kids getting to a point where I cut it off. I still am somewhat of a workaholic, but usually by the time I've got them all together and I'm there cooking dinner or whatever, the phone is off. Now, I might pick it back up after we have dinner and everything, but for my first few years, actually my first 15 years, I was a stone cold workaholic. It was sun up to sundown, sun up to sundown. The only thing is I did at the beginning of my career, I chose not to work on Sunday. And it wasn't a religious thing for me. It was just I have to have a day where I can just shut down. And so that was something I did early on. And so for now, the way that my business is set up, yes, I do have a cutoff time. I try to do 5, 6 o'clock, but I still will pick up, the phone, send out some invoices or do something, that's not too crazy, or do follow-up calls with my clients.
Do you still take Sundays off?
Yeah.
You go to church?
I go to church.
Go ahead.
I go to.
I'm just checking.
Why do you do this?
Just checking to make sure.
I think this is like this is just to elicit a reaction from.
Just to make sure.
Do you go to church?
I got the Boy Scout badge. Yes, I got the keys to the church.
That's because you preach.
Well, yeah.
Okay, tell me this. If you weren't preaching every Sunday, would you still be in church every Sunday? Mm-hmm. Okay.
Most likely, because I got to play the keyboard. I get a check for that.
Oh my God.
Hey, it means to an end.
Okay, if you weren't being paid to be at church, would you still be at church on Sunday?
Honestly, I would.
Okay.
Honestly,
I'm glad you said that.
I would, especially if it was someone that was feeding me and kind of guiding me.
Yeah.
Yeah, I would go.
I feel the same way because I think you knew that, and we'll probably talk about this on the next segment, but I had got to a point where even though, my kids have always went to church and I've always went to church, after the election, because I go to a multicultural church, I kind of stepped back a little bit because the ideologies weren't in line with my values. And so I just kind of was like, I can't do this anymore. But I missed the fellowship.
That's
you know what I mean?
Talk about.
I think we should talk about
because
it.
I'm saying I never associated the political views or how election goes with my church.
But you also enter in a different situation.
Yeah, I know I'm not a Republican. And I'm more of a free spirit person. So if
Marty,
my party doesn't win, I don't want to stop going to my church.
I am not a Republican. I'm independent. I'm independent. I was talking about the values of human decency and treating people fairly and valuing women. I saw friends of mine vote against that,
you can't
and it was
say that
hard
and talk
for
about
me.
the church at the same time.
Yes, you can.
Because all that stuff you're talking about goes on in the church.
Yes, it does.
Right,
yeah, I'm telling you, that's what I was having a hard time with.
Yeah, well,
I was having a hard time
because that was a crazy church. It wasn't because of the political.
No, my church is not crazy. I love them.
Said was going through all that crazy
okay, but I was processing it in such a way where it made me feel like I wanted to step away. But I had to step back and go, wait a minute, this place has fed me and has loved on me for the last 10 years. I can't turn my back on them just because a few people in the leadership lean one way or the other, and because they've said certain things.
Let's hold that though. We're gonna have to pick that up.
Yeah,
on the
I kind of want to pick that up.
That's gonna be a good one right there. You're listening to Donnie Jones, the certified arborist, right?
Yeah, let's just say you're listening to Donnie Jones Live. I'm Donnie the Tree Lady.
And I'm Marty McFly.
Welcome back to Donnie Jones Live. I am Donnie the Tree Lady.
And I am that guy, Marty McFly.
Now, you got me thinking. What I wanted to get back to was us talking about church real quick because it is near and dear, and I know a lot of our listeners go to church. I have to put this out there. I absolutely love my church.
Okay.
I love church. I love going to church. I love the community of church. But what happened after the election was that I noticed that there were so many people that I had loved and respected that I knew are good family people. They love their children. They respect women. They respect women's rights. And they followed this person like a puppy dog into hell. And I just was like, okay.
They followed who?
No, we're not going to do that.
No, I'm saying they followed the. You saying after the election? Were you saying that was their candidate that they were?
Yeah, they followed it. Yeah, they were backing him, which I had no problem with them just generally backing him because it doesn't matter who you vote for or whatever. But they were trying to pass this off as like this is the second coming of Jesus and that he was sent by God and all this kind of stuff. Whereas you had a very decent man that loved his family, that was faithful to his wife, but you didn't feel like he was sent by God. And so I just was like, there's some little bit of a disconnect there. And so
I gotta call a spade a spade.
What's that? What?
You can't be a sore loser, because the same thing that before this previous election, when, what, I ain't even gonna sugarcoat it. When Obama got in office, people lost their mind too. Like
That's true.
This was sent by God.
I remember
a lady on TV saying, I ain't gotta pay my rent no more. What?
Dude, I know.
Just all this crazy stuff.
No, I got one better than that. There was a lady that did not have a job. Was behind on her rent. They interviewed this chick on TV, and she said that she was gonna get a job now, and she could get caught up on her rent. And I'm sitting there going, how the heck is the president gonna help you do that?
Right.
Like it's just these false ideas. But here's the thing, though. He did not promise them that. He didn't promise none of that.
I wouldn't even say either one of them promised things. They said they ran
manufacturing jobs gonna come back. Coal is gonna come back. Really?
Yeah, I'm saying everything.
They didn't promise anything.
Let's make America great again. It's a thought. Let's make a change.
Yeah. Okay.
It's a thought kind of concept of Right. What all did you change?
Right.
My brother.
Right.
I love you.
What I'm saying is that.
But let's go back to your church though, because I want to get back on that.
That's where.
Because you were saying that you started not liking them, but you felt a certain kind of way because
when you're in the pulpit, right? And this thing with Kaepernick went down.
Yep.
And you get people in the pulpit saying, not so much endorsing what happened to him, but going, you know, we got to love our country, love God and stuff. And I'm like, I'm with that, you know. And they go, and we have to respect the flag. I'm like, okay, I know what you're trying to say. Yeah, you're basically, this whole thing with Kaepernick was in the news.
Right.
And from the pulpit, you're saying that. You know, when you've got 70% of your congregation, which you don't want to admit it, but 60 to 70% of your congregation is now of color, even though 10 years ago it wasn't. But the mindset needed to change.
I'll say this. You should not use any political influence in the pulpit.
I agree.
However, when you're in the pulpit, you know the pulse of your congregation.
Right. But that's what threw me, dude.
Right. No. See, you just waking up and realizing where you at.
You know, God, you've been telling me that.
I'm trying to keep telling you that, and trying to keep letting you know, but I'm saying if you just wake up one morning.
But this has been my family for 10 years, 11 years.
And you just woke up to find out who your family really is.
Well, it kind of hurt my feelings a little bit. You know what? I'm going to go with what you said.
Okay.
I think that is what hurt so bad. Because I did feel like I knew my family had values and cared about women's rights and cared about people of color as well as people that were from other communities. So I felt like, okay, I don't like this other person, but at least I can go in that direction because they're a decent human being. But when you can go for somebody that is grabbing women by inappropriate parts and still justify that from the pulpit, I just was like, okay. So it opened my eyes to a lot of stuff. And then I started to notice patterns. Like people would be in the pulpit and be, you know, whenever it was time for election or somebody was going to, they would have certain people from parties come and say hello. Like they didn't get up and speak, but they would be like, hey, say hello to such and such. He's joining us today. Well, why was it always from one side? I'm sure other people visited. Why didn't you call them out in the crowd and be like, hey?
How can I say it like this? Being honest, your alarm clock is kind of going off now. And you're starting to see what you are surrounded with.
Yeah.
You know, I'm saying it's things where.
But it was painful.
Yeah. I'm saying sometimes the truth hurts. You know, when you open up your eyes, I think it was a lady on our show not too long ago that said that actually she went to your church and said that she wanted to be a part of the women's group or something like that to make change. And they're like, yeah, well, come on in, sugar. Why don't you just sit right there, little girl? You know, we
yeah, but then when she wanted a leadership role, it was like,
sit right there, little girl.
Right.
You know, and there's a difference when you realize when they say, praise the Lord, girl, how you doing?
Yeah.
Everybody else, they just say, praise the Lord.
Oh, God, that's so good.
There's certain little things that you don't think about as much, but.
Well, you know,
and I don't think they do it on purpose. Honestly, I don't think
when you pick, you know who Whoopi Goldberg is, obviously, right?
Oh, yeah.
When you pick somebody that's lighter than my daughter, okay, with stringy straight hair,
okay, you got to tell the whole story.
To play Whoopi Goldberg.
You got.
I'm just saying, there was a play in my church that would have been great for a girl of color. Okay, it didn't matter because
you
my church
sugarcoating to tell the story. Okay, y'all was having a play at your church, Sister Act.
Yes.
And if you know the play, Sister Act, the stars Whoopi Goldberg.
Right.
And at your church, they decided not to have any girl of color playing Whoopi Goldberg's part. Right. Even though they had people of color to
play had people to choose from.
But they said, no, we going to have little Miss Susie play Whoopi Goldberg. Right. And that just made you feel a certain thing.
It did. It did because they had another choice. But what hurt even more was when they came back to me and said, well, actually, Doni, it's not like what you think. She's actually half Latino. And I was like, okay. You know, but going back to why I started going again, okay? Yep. There are decisions that I've made in my life that people don't understand, but my intentions were good.
Okay.
And I've loved people through tough situations. I've been there for people, even though my ideology might be different from theirs.
Right.
Some of these people have been through me. When my sister died, they were there for me. They showed up the church at the hospital when my sister died. Yeah. They prayed for me. They cared for my kids. When my daughter was in the hospital, she had a little asthma attack. They reached out to me and stuff like that. I can't forget that those were my friends and family members from church that showed up for me. So even though it's hard for me to overlook those other things, I'm not going to throw away 10 years or 11 years of relationship because I don't understand why they were able to sink their teeth into this.
Right.
This,
you know, and I want to be straight honest, and I don't want to offend any because I know it's all about love. Okay. It
is. Yeah.
It's all about love. But you know, a couple of months ago, I hit a dog. You know, and I brought the dog into the house, and I took care of the dog.
Yeah.
Cared about it, rubbed it and everything like that, but I never let the dog upstairs. But I love and care about the dog. We've adopted the dog now, and now it's a part of the family.
Right.
But the dog ain't allowed in my bed. It ain't allowed in certain places.
Explain how that analogy, because you lost me. You're deeper than I am sometimes.
Mm-hmm. So, at the same time,
because I'm lost.
You're
I ain't
lost.
gonna lie,
I know. So they can come to your aid when your sister passed.
Absolutely.
When your daughter is sick, they can come around.
Absolutely.
They can do that. But now when it's time for you to go to their house and be a part on that same level.
Oh yeah, I go to their houses and stuff.
But your kids can't act in the play as a black.
Well, this is what they said.
I agree.
I agree.
It's to a certain level.
I agree. You're right.
We're cool.
Yeah.
But to a certain, you can't. We're good, but you're not going to be the president of the women's committee. You could be on the committee. You could be in our fellowship because we love you. But now you're never going to get that top seat now.
Oh, that's so good.
But we love you. And
oh my gosh. You know, Marty, I don't want to agree that you're right, but when I look at the leadership, I have to admit that you're right.
It's the glass.
I don't even want to.
We always talk about it.
Why are you waking me up on the radio?
Because you still going to the same church.
Because I love them. Because they're my friends. Now you got me looking like Susie the Django. Oh my God, no! Oh heck no! Oh heck no! I ain't that. I'm not that guy. Can we change the subject? Because you get ready to make me mad, man.
Just saying, no. Clarence.
No, I'm not that guy. I ain't Clarence or whatever the heck his name.
All right, yeah, I love these people. I love these people.
My church is very
scuba diving, right?
Oh my God!
They put my head up under the water.
You know what? Yeah, they did baptize my baby. But anyway, what else is going on in your world today?
Yeah, well, my church, we're doing something different with church.
Okay,
every third Wednesday at my church now, we're going to be doing just crazy church. Okay. I'm just like throwing out the regular rules.
What's crazy church? Talk to me.
I'm bringing wine and cheese to the service. You can have wine, cheese. We doing spoken word, a little hip hop, little.
I got a question for you. Why is that different? See, I think that's actually kind of cool that you're doing that. I always have a problem with people when they talk about, this is a little different. I'm bringing wine to church or whatever. Jesus' first miracle was turning water into wine.
Yeah, but it wasn't doing a church service. It was doing a wedding.
I know, but it was at a party. Right. But I'm just saying.
It was at a wedding.
Act like,
nowadays.
There's denominations that speak out against you if you drink.
Right.
I'm like, dude.
This ain't the one. I'm sorry. This ain't the one. With Lutherans, if you got 4 Lutherans together, you got a 5th somewhere in there. I'm just saying, So it's in a sense, we really truly believe that we are both.
Caught that. That was cute.
But it's the honest truth. But we all like saints and sinners, and it's like this.
Yeah.
Don't try to pretend like you all clean and everything when you come to church. Don't be you.
Yeah.
We have a smoking section outside of the church.
Dude.
No. Understand. Because some people will say.
Smoking's bad for you, though.
I understand that. I didn't say I'm smoking, but I'm saying this.
Okay.
Instead of saying, don't come to my church or don't even come on my church property if you want to smoke.
I see what you're saying.
Look, no, I know you smoke. I can smell it on you. You were smoking in the car.
You want them to feel comfortable.
Over here in this area.
Right.
They have it out there.
Right.
People don't think if you go to a church and there's 3,000 people in there.
Oh, I know. Yeah.
All of them up there ain't.
Right.
It's not they all the non-smokers. It's more ministers up there that smoke cigarettes. And I'm not judging them one way or another, but I'm saying be you, and that's what I'm kind of like doing there. It's like be you. Even if you want to smoke your little weed before church, do it outside and come on in.
Okay, now we are getting
open up that third eye. Anyway, look, we'll talk more about it because I'm serious. It's the third weekend.
I like where we're at right
Wednesday.
now. I like where we're at. Let's talk about that.
Yeah, we'll talk about it more. You're listening to Donnie Jones Live.
I'm Donnie the Tree Lady.
And I'm Marty McFly.
We'll be right back. Welcome back to Donnie Jones Live. I'm Donnie the Tree Lady.
And I am that pastor that, I'm going to make sure I say that. I'm the pastor that is trying to inspire people.
Yes.
In a new direction.
You are.
Church.
This is, oh my God, I'm feeling the feels right now. I'm feeling good because going back to kind of what we talked about in the future, I really want this to be a resource for people. And, our favorite subjects is always our spirituality, which we're talking about right now, and entrepreneurship. And that's my sweet spot, my spirituality and my sweet spot. I love that you're opening the doors of your church up to truly be a welcoming church.
I do. And I want to actually go away from the regular norm of, it's like, the people that's been in church for 30 and 40 years, and everything is the pastor, the great pastor. I don't even want you to come. And I'm being honest in a sense. Okay. In a sense of this,
We gotta, but here's the thing.
Wait, let me clear that. Let me clear it up.
Okay.
Some people are so heavenly bound that they're no earthly good.
Ooh, preach.
And those are the people that I'm like, is what the Bible say? What the Bible say? No, I want little Ricky now. Right. Who just like, look, I'm spiritual. I want some guidance. I don't know a whole lot about God, but I think He loved me.
Right. I love that
want
guy.
You to come.
I want that guy.
I want that person, or the person that's like, look, I don't have any answers, but I have a whole lot of questions. Can I come?
Marty, you gonna make me cry right now.
Those are the ones that I want, not the ones that, what's the dude that sound like Fatback? Jehoshaphat. When they start going, Jehoshaphat, they march into the battle with pride, and they hit the praise team in front of them, and what the glory of the Lord says. Yeah. Okay, you two there. Yeah. And it's good that people are. It's good to be knowledgeable. Yeah. But sometimes people will quote and just know about the Bible, but they can't apply it to anybody.
They might know the Bible, but they don't necessarily know God.
Right. Know God or how to help somebody.
Going back to what you just said, I can't tell you how many people I've run to on the streets that be like, listen, I don't mess with church, but man, I know God loves me.
Yeah.
I went through this tough time and I knew God was with me, and I felt God's presence with me, or I was getting ready to get in a car accident and an angel held this off. They may not know all the Bible quotes.
There you go.
They may not know all the Bible verses, but they know, and they do have a relationship with God. And for you to open your doors to welcome those people, I'm telling you, man, I'm trying not to cry on the radio, but for me to hear a pastor say that and to mean it, because I hear pastors, I ain't gonna lie, I watch some TBN, not very often, but I'll see a little TBN and they'll say what you just said. And and they'll follow it with, and the Holy Ghost told me that 1,000 people, 1,000 people are going to send $1,000, and I'm like, and I need a $65 million jet. No, come on, no. And you really mean what you say, and you are serving in the community.
Yeah. I think you got to come to where the people are at. Come down to their level. We all trying to figure it out. We all just trying to make tomorrow a little bit better.
Right. And we're not making somebody wrong.
Right.
If they don't know everything. Heck, I know me some Bible verses, but I don't know as many as you
do. You know what? Here's the thing. Paul wrote majority of the New Testament, okay?
Right.
He never quoted Jesus. He never quoted a scripture. He didn't. The Bible wasn't written then. Paul never quoted Jesus. He never met Jesus. He never had a way to say, well, Jesus said. No, he didn't. He just wrote letters to different churches. Trust me. Paul was actually persecuting all these Christians, trying to kill them all. And then Jesus came and said, why are you persecuting me, Paul?
Right.
And then he changed his name, and that's what
he was Saul at first, and then
right. But he never quoted Jesus. He never met Jesus.
Marty, I get smarter every day when I'm with you. I'm telling you.
I try.
Dude, that's awesome. Yeah. That is so awesome.
So with people that are trying to minister that says, well, I don't know the Bible. Well, Paul didn't know the Bible.
Because the Bible wasn't the Bible.
Right. The Bible wasn't the Bible. It was just the Torah. It was the Old Testament.
We getting ready to get into some crazy stuff because it's true. I know. The Bible was not the Bible. And not only that, there's more than 66 books.
Oh, yeah. It's a lot more than 66 books.
But those are the ones that were picked and chosen.
Actually, it's only 66 that we use in America. Other countries, sometimes they use more books of them. But, and it's not even about what's, how many of these books in the Bible. Right. Because, look, out of the 66 books in this regular Bible, right, most of us ain't read them.
Dude, you know what? When I was in Genesis and they was going through, that one begot this one and got one, that one got that, I was like, okay.
Genealogy. Yep.
I'm good. Dude, seriously. So I jumped straight to the New Testament and it was like stuff I could understand.
It's stuff that you can understand, and it's like, depending on what
I know that's not right, but I'm just
No, it depends on what are you going for the Bible for. And that's the biggest thing, because if you're going for personal enlightenment, right? Okay, you might want to go to a Proverbs, or Psalms if you want some kind of guidance for this.
I love
if you
Proverbs.
Want to know some stories, then you might want to go to the Old Testament. Right. If you want to know how to live the new life or whatever, or how the church get built, you might want to go to the New Testament.
Right.
But it's kind of like, what are you going there for? If you're trying to be a Bible scholar,
right?
Then you might want to understand how many generations from him begot him, begot him, begot him. Or you understand that the writers of these books, they wanted to show their lineage of, like, it goes back to, one goes all the way back to Abraham, because these people wanted to show that we was from this father.
Right.
And then another one says, okay, they go all the way back to Joseph, because they wanted to show how God, and Jesus went all the way back. but it just shows, what are you going to the Bible for?
Right.
You know.
Well, see, for me, when I go to the Bible, I'm generally going to it for inspiration, to do a little stress relief. You know what I mean? I'm going to it so I have a better connection because, even though I know God's word comes to me and God's presence is there, it's like being able to read those scriptures, it's like it solidifies something in me. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And it's like it's more foundational. But I don't read it so that I can go to somebody else and be smarter than somebody else. I never have, because that's just not my personality.
I can't do that.
Yeah, you can, because you do have a very good grip on what's actually in there, and you can quote scriptures. I'm saying that I think most people, going along with what you said, that they have a relationship with God, even though they don't know all the right words.
Yeah,
and I would venture to say most people that are followers of Christ and that call themselves Christians, that's actually where they're at.
Yeah.
And I read this article saying that a lot of Christians or a lot of churches are losing memberships. That might be true, but there are other churches that are growing. There are churches that are literally growing right now.
That's the real truth. No, the ones that are dying because y'all got that BS ministry. And I'll be honest with you, it's a lot of it.
Did you just say
it
BS?
is that Bible study wrong ministry, that BS.
Okay.
You get you. But it's a lot of them like that. And I'm serious because they'll look at the people with the mega churches and talk about, they ain't doing real church.
Right.
They ain't doing nothing. But those churches are growing.
Right.
And people are getting service.
Right. Well, they were talking about one of the big pastors out there, even though I got a little issue with him or whatever, because he didn't, open things up for the little people in Houston. But here's the thing, though. There are atheists that go to his church. There's Jewish people that go to his church. There's Muslims that go to his church. He's able to bring a word that touches a lot of people from all different religions, all different faiths, all different sexualities. And you can't knock what the dude is doing. Now, I don't like certain things that he's done, but I can see that there are people that turn this dude on and are like, I get something from it.
Man, let me ask anybody that's listening. Tell me one person that you like everything that they've done.
That's good. That's good. You're right.
And we act like ministers, he is not perfect.
I wasn't talking about the perfect thing.
I know. Well, we'll always confine something that it's like, what? Well, they didn't open up the doors of their church when they had the flood.
Right.
Okay, well, what was the parameters around that? Did it's almost like when things happen, you can always like when the guy a couple of weeks ago, he gave all the money to the students at Morehouse, and then they wanted to look at Oprah. Well, why ain't you do that, Oprah?
I know. Could you believe that? I was like,
so what I'm saying is,
she's opened a school already.
Right. So at the same time, you got these mega churches that are helping a lot of people.
Exactly.
And then that one person that sometimes bitter.
People say they're too secular. Like, how can you say a church is too secular if they're accepting people, loving on people?
Old traditional church that's dying. You wanted to be more like that. And that's the thing.
You might be joking, but that's exactly what they want.
That's why they church is dying.
Right.
And if you're not trying to advance, that's why I'm like, I'm doing something different.
And I'm going to ask you as a pastor.
Okay.
Which I know we're going to talk more about business, but I love the space that we're in right now. I'm going to ask you as a pastor. There was, one of the big churchy guys on CNN, and he said that a lot of these churches that are growing really aren't teaching the word. Like, they're just letting anybody in they're sinners, and they're letting all kinds of folk in. How do you feel about that as a minister? I mean, I think I know how you feel about it, but what do you say to, a preacher that's been in ministry for 30, 40, 50 years, and he doesn't like seeing that, there's people with purple hair there. There's people that might be gay there. There's people that might not be true believers there. There might be people.
I feel like this.
What do you say to that guy?
To that guy, it's interesting when Jesus was on the cross and the little thief that was beside him and said,
people that are felonies?
Right. That says, when you receive your kingdom, when you enter your kingdom, let me be a part,
Yeah.
He didn't say, well, you need to get off the cross and you need to change some things first. He didn't say you need to get off the cross and go get baptized and you need to fast for a minute and you need to read the Old Testament and all that stuff.
You need to be dunked and not sprinkled.
Right. And then you can be in my kingdom. The thing about God is, like, you don't work for your salvation. There's nothing that we can do to work to get to heaven. God has already given us that.
That's right.
So why do we have these ministers or these people that are trying to be the gatekeepers to say, well, you're not qualified for God's love?
Right.
Who gave you that audacity?
Exactly. No. And I even have to go back to the fact that we're in the South. And I'm married to a white guy. Do you know there are certain churches that I could not, 30 years, probably even now.
Right now. They will look at you crazy.
Yeah, I couldn't step foot in the door because they said that that's against God's will.
That's against God's will.
Yeah, you know, or you got on yours is a cotton shirt, but mine's is a mixed blend shirt. You weren't supposed to wear mixed blends.
Actually, you're a woman and you spoke in a church. You don't supposed to do that. You're supposed to only go to your husband, even if you don't have a husband. I'm like, huh? That don't make no sense, you know. But it's like all these things in church that there's like you got to do this. My mom used to tell me all the time, you can't clean a fish until you catch it.
Ooh,
you know. So invite the people in. You know,
preach. You could preach on that one.
I'm just saying
that should be your sermon this Sunday.
You know, it might be. But we're gonna take a break and I'll think about that.
I love it.
Go ahead, you do it. It's your show.
It's our show.
Okay, well,
okay. You listen to
Marty McFly. Well, you said it was but go ahead. No, you do it.
You listen to Donnie Jones Live. I'm Donnie the Tree Lady.
And I am Marty McFly. And we'll be right back.
Yeah. Welcome back to Donnie Jones Live.
I am that guy, Marty McFly.
And I'm Donnie the Tree Lady.
Yeah.
Dude, you know what? I got to tell you, I really like where we're going, man. I really do.
You know, I enjoy the way that how they say the spirit just moves.
Yeah.
You know, and just moves. And, you know, sometimes, you know, everything in church doesn't have to be so religiously based.
Right.
You know, you can take, like you were saying, some of the other
I think it should always be spiritually based, but it doesn't. I think religion is a chokehold right now on the church. Religion is a chokehold on the church. And I think we've got to just love some folks. And like you had mentioned, there was something you just said. Your mom said that you can't clean a fish until you catch it.
Right.
I'm going to use that because it's true. Let's
is.
get people through the doors, but here's the thing, though. You don't want to get them through the doors under false pretense.
Right.
Meaning, okay, you get through the doors, you become a member or whatever, don't become a member, whatever, and then I'm going to judge you once you get there.
Right.
Let God do the work.
Yeah.
And you know, my thing is I used to have a bad temper. I mean, like literally have a really bad temper, you know, when things didn't necessarily go my way. You know, once I really focused on my relationship with God, I realized a lot of my anger and my frustration came from hurt from my childhood, you know? But I had to let God do that kind of work. It wasn't like somebody came over, popped me in the head, and all of a sudden the anger was gone.
You know? It's just like everything else, and I have used this in a sermon, and this might be coming up soon, too, in a sermon. Maybe on the third Wednesday if y'all come to the event. But a lot of times, like, I just had a surgery not too long ago.
Right.
And it says, you know, the best way for me to heal is from the inside.
Yeah.
You know, not something from the outside, healing it from the inside. What you were just saying there, most people, when we're dealing with stuff, we got to heal from the inside.
That's right.
You know, like your problem with your anger management and everything, there's nothing that somebody you can't take pills. Nope. You can't take no lotion and rub in, you know, anger management. That's something that has to come in from the inside
That's
out.
right.
Even the self-esteem.
Yes.
You know, it's irritating and funny when somebody says, he messed up my self-esteem. It's called self-esteem.
That's so good. Preach.
They can't do that. That's comes
another
from inside.
sermon, dude.
It's just saying, it's things in the inside that you have to do to overcome.
That's
you know.
Right.
But anyway, we gotta keep this moving because you know it was a topic that I wanted to talk about and I get your opinion, your real feeling. Okay. Since, you know, we're in Georgia and right beside us, they got this, and it actually might be
God, I think I know where you're going.
A law that is going to be passed here in Georgia that they're talking about the abortion law. What do you think about that?
I ain't trying to get kicked off the radio, man.
No, but just your...
Okay. Here's my thought. Here's my thought. I believe 100% without a doubt and emphatically a woman should have a right to choose. However, that choice should not be used as birth control. I do agree in certain communities and in certain situations it is overused and it is abused. And it is an option that I think needs to be mitigated in certain situations. But I'm not the one to say, don't have this option. You know, and I think that battle has already been fought. And we need to let sleeping dogs lie. Just leave it alone. You know, make some better choices. Educate. The biggest thing for me is that a lot of this, even though it doesn't seem like it is, it's related to education. And opportunity. When people have education and opportunities and are taught a better way of thinking and being, maybe a lot of these challenges and mistakes wouldn't happen. But then you also have other situations where people are raped
Right.
I think that should always be an option.
Now I'm gonna challenge you on this one, okay?
Okay.
I'm gonna challenge you on this. I'm gonna ask you a question. And don't get mad at me. You don't get mad at me. But you told me a couple of weeks ago we were talking about spanking your kids,
right.
and you said that you don't feel like you have the authority to put your hands on another human being, right? Mm-hmm. So why should we have the authority to kill another life being, even if it's smaller than us?
Right.
You know.
Well, that's a complicated question, and I did say that, and I still mean that. Mm-hmm. But I am saying, after the research, after seeing other women that have been in tough situations, mm-hmm. after watching what happens when a person doesn't want a child,
right, and
the trauma that child goes through, no, you're right. I don't have the right to kill another human being, you know, but at the same token, I have to go, this is one that I don't have a good answer for, but I still think that choice should be there. Like, I'm not the greatest proponent of the death penalty, but right. we seem to have no problem with that in our society.
Right.
You know, so you want to protect little embryos, but yet you don't want to protect immigrants. You mm-hmm. want to protect little embryos, but I don't see you running to adopt any of these little babies that are being born.
Right. But in a sense, all lives matter, right?
I believe all lives matter, but I'm going to be honest with you and say that's one I don't have a good answer for. Mm-hmm. I really don't. That's one of those gray areas where I'm like, okay, maybe I'm on the wrong side of history on this one, mm-hmm. but I believe a woman should have the right to choose to bring it forward. Now, I don't think a woman should be, going back to what we talked about, common sense, I do not believe in late-term abortion. I really don't. Mm-hmm. I just think I think that's horrific.
Now, what if there's an option of saying, okay, you don't have to keep the child, mm-hmm. you know, but you don't have to abort the birth of the child.
Well, then you put it up for adoption.
Right,
but what I'm saying is, you got kids right now that are in the adoption centers right now that are in what do they call it when you're fostered or whatever?
Foster care.
That are being sexually abused, that are being hurt, and it's not all these evangelicals or whoever that are against this. Mm-hmm. They aren't running in and adopting all these. If they were running in mass to adopt these kids, I'd be like, go for it.
Well, you might not want some of them to adopt them.
Why not?
Because
why not?
Because they've been putting them hands on them too the wrong ways.
I agree.
But some of that is just in regular households anyway.
Right,
you know. But you know,
it's a tough issue. But as a woman, I believe that I should have the right to choose what to do with my body. We've already fought this fight. I'm done fighting the fight. It's already been decided in our courts. Leave it alone and let's move on to something else. Because if you're not going to care about immigrants that much, if you're not going to care about people of color, if you're not going to care about the LGBTQ community, if you're not going to care about people that are different from you, then please don't tell me how much you care about an embryo. I'm sorry. That's just my opinion.
No, I honestly agree with you. I'm saying I think that it's sad that the ones that are making these laws are mm-hmm. all men.
Yeah,
if you look at the roster of the people that are making this law right here, they're all men.
Right.
You know, and nobody is saying what happens to men. You know, we can do whatever we want to do with our bodies.
Right.
You know, and there's no overseer that says, well, you know, you're not going to do a prostate this year, but we're going to make you do one next year.
Right.
You know, or you're going to get this cut off or you can't get this cut off.
Right.
You know, we don't have that kind of option.
Right.
You know, that kind of limitation. So I think that just fairness,
a
woman should have the right to do what they want
I think she should have the right, but once again, common sense.
Yes,
I do not believe in late term. I just don't. I think
look, they might be trying to put it on layaway or something. No. You know, and they ain't got all the money up front, so they just put, you know, so much each month and just, you know, as long as we get it paid off before it come out, we can work it out. I'm just saying, you know, you got there's spaces in there. There's only spaces in there.
Turn that around and make it.
Hey,
you can't even make that funny, but you tried your best to clean that one up.
Everybody ain't got that kind of budget, so you got to pay on it.
So,
you know, I'm just saying, but that's part of the rule too, because they're saying, okay, within 6 days or how many, so many.
I think it's
days,
6 weeks.
6 weeks, you know, and then you can find. Some people can't afford a birth control test, you know, within that time frame or whatever.
Everybody, I
don't know.
We can get off on a whole lot. There's a lot of things people say they can't afford that they seem to be able to afford other stuff.
I don't know.
I'm just saying.
You
was able to afford.
Since we're running kind of time, I'm trying to change the subject real quick.
Please do. I know. Because I don't have an answer for that. I just know a woman should have the right to choose. Do I understand everything about it? No, mm-hmm. but as a woman, you have a right to choose.
You should have a right to choose. You know, if I had a inspirational moment to say,
please have an inspirational moment right now.
Honestly, I don't. But I'll say this: a little moment happened with me this week. Okay.
Okay.
And it might be something that's beneficial to somebody out there. I was laying on my back this week, and I really couldn't get up, and it was just one of those things,
What happened?
Just surgery. I'm still kind of, healing and everything, and it was just a tough moment or something like that. And out of all the gospel songs in my head, a song came in my head from this philosopher. You might know him, Ludacris. The rapper Ludacris. It just popped out.
I'm just gonna go with you.
Right, it just
I've
popped
learned
out.
I just need to go with you. Go ahead.
And the song came out. It just said, "Stand up," and then it said, when I move, you move, just like that. When I move, you move, just like that. And I started thinking, like, that's just like God telling us. Just like a chess move. When I move, then you move.
I love it.
And we're going to do it just like that. Because a lot of people are waiting on that blessing. Or waiting on that change and shift in life. And it's like, it ain't nothing happening. And he's like, well, I moved. Now it's your turn to move. So it's like,
That's
moved,
God using Ludacris.
Right. And, just stand up. So it's like sometimes if you're on your back or if you're in a situation where you don't know how to move, just ask him. He's going to do a little bit of move. And then it's time for you to move.
It's funny you say that because that was the theme of our last at church last week.
Oh,
when
what?
you don't know what to do, turn to him.
Turn to him.
And he'll show you. And in your situation, that's exactly what he did.
Oh yeah. I ain't even gonna make no jokes about your church either. So
I was talking about how move when you move. That was we were on the same theme.
I know. Yeah.
I don't understand how that could be turned into a joke about my church.
Because your church got some issues.
Yeah.
I don't know who up there telling you to move. They might be telling you to move the wrong place.
They were talking about turning to God. We were on a warm and fuzzy thing right there.
It feels good.
We was
too.
doing
It feels good.
Donnie,
I enjoyed this day. I know. It's the end of the show. I'm just saying.
It is the end of the show.
All right.
And it need to be the end. I'm just kidding. Marty, I have really enjoyed this, seriously, because I know we get to joke and have fun, but I really want to be something of substance. And we might be a little controversial in some of the things that we say, but know that it's always coming from love and from a place where we want to understand and give people hope and inspire.
And at the end of the day, whatever we can do to help somebody else have a better tomorrow.
That's right.
That's the big thing.
And by the way, if y'all ever want to hook up with us, give us reach out to us at DonnieJonesLive@gmail.com. That's DONIJONES live@gmail.com. I'm Donnie the Tree Lady.
And I am Marty McFly.
See ya.